Masterclass Teaching Lesson Demo Series is brought to you by Shooters Academy. These lessons showcase teachers and learners in ordinary South African classrooms. We have focused on a range of classrooms that reflect the diverse educational environments in our country. We hope that these lessons will inspire and motivate you, but mostly reassure you about your own teaching. The videos have been designed to accompany the Shooters Academy teacher workshops. You can find out more about the Academy at the end of this video. The videos can, however, be watched independently of the workshop course. Either way, you will see excellent and varied examples of teaching methods, assessment techniques, and management strategies. As teachers who are dedicated to ongoing learning and development, you will be excited to know that we have included full lessons for your perusal. Every aspect of a lesson is important in building knowledge and skills in learners. Important tips that relate to methodology, assessment techniques, and classroom management are indicated by pop-out messages at the bottom of the screen. This is a Grade 7 Creative Arts lesson that focuses on playmaking. The learners are challenged to create a play that deals with disagreement. This lesson begins with the teacher getting learners to explore disagreement. She arranges a group of learners in a tableau that depicts disagreement. The teacher then asks learners to get into groups and share experiences of conflict they have experienced. This discussion creates the groundwork for the play they will create later on in the lesson. Next, the teacher asks learners to explain how each individual shared his or her story with the group. Through careful and persistent questioning, she has learners discover the structure of drama, that all drama must consist of a beginning, middle, and end. This understanding is fundamental for the next stage in the lesson, where learners create a play. Learners need a creative arts vocabulary that they can use to describe creative processes. Words like conflict, tension, and resolution must be taught and must become part of their vocabulary. Once the teacher has laid this solid foundation, she delivers the task, which demands that learners work out dynamics that show disagreement, conflict, tension, and finally resolution. Learners work in groups to present this through an improvisation. This is a very carefully scaffolded lesson where the teacher has considered all elements that learners will need to create a successful play. Learners finally present their plays, and the teacher ends by getting learners to review their performance. Because this lesson is so carefully structured, discipline is maintained. The teacher also uses a tambourine to signify the end of tasks and to get learners to pay attention. The Shooter and Shooter book being used in this lesson is. As you watch the lesson that follows, examine the pop-out notes we provide at the bottom of the screen from time to time. They will provide tips for successful teaching methods, assessment, and classroom management.
Morning, everybody.
Morning, Mrs. Lawrence.
Oh, I'm so tired. Come, I want you to all stand up. I know you've had an interesting morning. Come into the center of the room. Find a space so that you're not touching anybody. Move away from everybody. Don't talk to anybody. Okay. I'm going to, no, not in a circle, because you're still close. With my grade ones, I put hands up. Come on, you can all make up space. Just into a space by yourself. Come forward. Okay. All right. I'm going to use a drum, and when you hear the drum, you're silent. Okay, that's easier than me shouting.
Okay, yes.
Josie. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is going to breathe in and relax. And you're going to close your eyes. Okay? And I want you to just be silent. Because what we're going to be doing today is about listening and responding. Breathe in and out. And in and out. Okay, wake up. All right. So, I am going to ask three of you. I want you to everybody now that you're all calm, I want you to move your chairs around the front side of the desk so that you're sitting. And can I have Josie's group come in the front here? Just sit in the front part of the desk so that you can get up easily. No, you stand up. You're not going to be sitting. Put your chair down, my boy. Okay, so for this exercise, I want you to work out what's happening without any words, just by the way people are reacting to something. Okay, so I want you to fold your arms, okay, and turn away. Okay, you're not allowed to smile. Okay, no, like fold your arms, like. All right. Okay, and I want you to bend down, and as if you are just talking to him. Okay, stop being silly. Come, pretend that you're talking to him. You're talking to him. You're talking to him. He's whispering. Okay. Okay, and now I want you about to lift your arm. Okay, and you're getting cross. Okay, we'll make a fist. Okay?
Guys, why me?
And you're also cross. Okay? Oh, well, now I've said one thing that you're. Okay, so what kind of situation? Can we put some more life into this? Okay, so what do you think might be happening?
Okay, so Hugo's talking about Rosie to Rourke, and then Ethan doesn't like it, so he's going to punch Rourke, and neither does Alex.
Yeah, Alex is always.
And Josie's also really upset, she can tell, because she's like two steps away from him.
Oh,
Yes?
okay, so Hugo's talking about Josie. Josie's angry. Ethan's gonna punch Rourke because Rosie's angry, and Alex doesn't want any of this to happen.
Okay.
Rourke spread a secret about Ethan and Josie.
All right, that's a situation.
Josie's just standing there normally, not knowing what's going on, and Hugo has a crush on Josie. And then Ethan likes Josie as well, so he's getting angry.
You can see that everybody has a different take on just the way our bodies tell us what's going on, okay? So what I want you to do, what we're actually looking at is a bit of a disagreement. You all mentioned that in some way. What happens when you have a disagreement? We do know this in grade 7. We've had a few in the last few days. Well, you fight. What's another way? When you fight, how do you feel? Emotional. Angry.
Feel like you want to punch.
Put up your hands. It's a bit easier to, yes?
Frustrated.
You can feel frustrated, which creates a conflict, okay? And then invariably, what happens at the end? Someone gets hurt. What else? At school, where do you all end up? In Mrs. Scott's office. And finally, hopefully, things are resolved. So I want you, in your groups, to just have a discussion for 5 minutes about some sort of conflict that you've had in the last few days. Not necessarily at school. It could be at home, wherever, or experiences that you've experienced when there's been a disagreement that has escalated into conflict. So just get back into your groups and you can divide up a little bit more. Please remember to give everybody Please remember to listen to each other and to the drum. Okay. Come on, join in. What's happened to you?
Then he chased me around the house.
I punched my dad because he was pushing me during the competition. It had to be about you.
It could be about something else, but something that you've experienced in some way. Come on.
Ryan goes to the playground every day.
Okay, but now tell us how you feel, and like, has it ever gone anywhere? Did you just feel upset, or did you do something?
Upset and also cross at the same time. When he calls me that.
Okay, and what about something that happens at home? Come on,
I told my story so well. Actually,
these guys have to join in.
yeah, I
Come on.
one time he was arguing with me a lot, my brother from my house. So I told him that it's life, so he should just deal with it. And so he kicked me like about 4 times with his knees. I saw a Pikachu and I couldn't catch it. I had no Pikachu. I am so upset. I am so
Also, what happened to my friend who was playing soccer with his friend, and he kicked it, and it is true, I don't get it. And then when we come to the house, we need to prepare it to them.
Okay. Right. So we've had a few ideas, some people more than others. When you tell your stories, how does the other person make sense of your story? How do they follow your story? What usually happens when you start to tell? You have to listen. And when the person is telling the story, Fikile, when you started your story, do people start telling you what happened at the end? Do they, like I came up to a story where somebody was saying something about kicking somebody. Would that be the beginning of the story? Okay. Woo. So what we're going to do is, you've got to remember something. Everything has a beginning. You're going to create a little play, all right? You've got to have a beginning. You're obviously going to have, and then, just like our school play, you know how we consolidated with our, there's so many colors in the world.
Like, what must it be about? Like, what's the topic?
Josie? So, we are talking about disagreements. And if you think of any movie or any story, there's usually some sort of issue, all right? So based on the stories that you've been discussing, you're going to create a play, and it's going to start off with a disagreement. What usually happens after you've disagreed?
You get more angry, so you fight.
You get more angry, you fight. So there's conflict and there's tension. Okay? Now in your books, on page 103, this play is a play about using improvisation. So you don't have to write a script, but you do have to organize your characters. You're going to be taking a role. And the challenge is not to be the same person that you always are. So somebody who's always in the thick of things, you're going to try and be somebody a little bit different in this situation. And we're just basically working out now, you're going to sit as your group and work out dynamics that will show a disagreement, conflict and tension, and then finally resolving the issue. But please, you know, I may not end up in Mrs. Scott's office in your story. You've got to resolve this issue by yourselves. And it's not always easy to resolve. Okay, so you can start talking to each other again, and try and work something out. It looks to me, will one of you join these girls just so that we can have a bit more, yeah, because they are quiet. Only one is telling her story. Would you go sit there? Don't join them. But now you must first of all work out what your storyline's going to be.
That's not nice.
Real or true? We can use one of the real life ones. Oh, we can use one of the real life ones. You don't. No, because I'm trying.
It can be based on the truth, but you can change it. It's improvisation, so it's imagining.
Okay. No, you're gonna be raw.
Why do you have to be somebody in class? Why can't you make it up to be other people?
Because this really happened.
But why don't you rather take it a little bit further and create new characters, new names? Don't you know in a movie they always say that real people's names have been changed? Yes.
What play you should do? Can you give us some ideas?
Well, what about your story that you were telling?
Oh, about a plan.
Yes. You work out from an experience that you've had.
Okay.
You've been staying out of the arguments this year. So why don't you work out something that has happened to you this year or at home and work out what the disagreement was, how it escalated into a conflict, and how you might resolve it, and give each person.
Okay, so I'm going to say the disagreement is going to
Okay, what do you want to be, Alex? Alex Shepard.
Have you got your story?
Yeah. We've got a story. No, Alex Shepard. So, Alex, what do you want to be? He has to be the person.
Why don't you be the mean person?
You can be the second child.
You can be like, you want to be the secretary.
Have you got a good story?
No, it actually really is. I know Luke's one is actually got a really good story.
Okay, so you guys would just be like, yeah, making like, no.
Hey. I want you just to be clear that there is a definite disagreement and a definite climax. And if you're taking a part in the play, you must be that character. You can't be going, come on, say your line, say your line. You've got to carry on being that person. Because it's improvisation, you're not always going to say exactly the same thing, so you've got to listen to each other. I'm giving you 3-4 more minutes to work out everybody's part, and then we'll watch your plays.
I think Alex is camouflage. You say camouflage. You think camouflage is camouflage. I had this argument with Ashley.
Can you hear?
Yeah, and then we'll be like, you know what, I'm going to save our country.
United States of America.
Actually, it's impossible for you to well, I'm just going to be born in America. Well,
Josie, don't get out of control here. We need to stay in the play's context. Do you want to write it down? Your ideas.
And then you guys start like 17-year-olds.
Am I allowed to say to her, don't you get it? It's a
Yeah.
You're going to say no. Then he's going to be too highly flower.
Yeah, just there. You have to rock the list. And then Sylvia comes in and she's going to say, it is cauliflower.
Are you all connected here? Do you have a sense of what's happening?
Kinda.
Okay, so what's your disagreement?
So Hugo doesn't want. Hugo wants to take over the world.
Okay, but is that a reasonable argument?
It's about math, and Hugo wants to start a war to start math, to stop math, and then we all try and stop him. Yeah, you'll see.
Wait, so when you become a zombie, you say,
Okay, we're going to start off with this group is going to give us their first version of their improvisation. Come.
First?
Planned, yeah. Okay, so we are listening. We're all watching to see that there is logic and people are listening to each other in your story.
Okay, so this story is about, there was a confusion on a pronunciation about cauliflower. Okay, I had this argument and I was really angry.
Just close the door.
It's cauliflower.
No, it's camouflage.
Don't you get it?
It's camouflage. Okay, it's camouflage. No, guys, Amira's right. You don't have to shout. It's cauliflower.
And that's how we resolved the argument.
I'm the cauliflower.
Okay.
Yes, it's camouflage. That's how you spell it. But it's
So was the climax when you shouted?
yeah.
I was just like,
Okay, thank you. This group was ready next. Yes, after them, after them. Okay, shh, 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 shh. Please, can we listen?
This is about a story when someone stole another person's carrots.
Hey, you said you could eat our carrots. Hey, stop. Go.
The second day.
it's funny because
Shh, shh, shh.
Hey, you back? Don't told you to go, huh? Don't told you to go, boy.
Hey guys, break it up, 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 break it up. Goes for these carrots. These carrots. You can actually shoot you for this. Resolve. Where's the snake?
Okay. Okay, how about this, yeah? If you want to eat our carrots, just ask us and tell us when. Okay? Actually, no, you didn't pay. Get that, you didn't pay. Can you speak?
We use sign language.
What was in those carrots? Okay, cool, we're done.
Okay, would have been good if you'd apologize. Okay?
She said not say anything, I'll get it.
Mark, move back. Come sit here. Okay, don't talk. Don't talk.
Okay, just pretend it's American Black. Okay. Welcome to the
News.
news. Yes. Okay. Wait, what was this? What was that? What was that? Oh yes, we have breaking news. Hugo is taking over the world. Breaking news! Go to commercial. Go to commercial.
Last is horrible.
The only way to stop
is to kill him.
the only way to stop the war is to kill Hugo.
And that's how the war ended about math.
Okay, thank you. These things happen to you every day. They're supposed to be based on your experiences.
Oh, that wasn't enough.
All right, come, last group.
You guys have to start on that.
Okay, shh, 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 shh.
Hey, give me your money. I need help.
It's like a dog fall to like a.
I need your extra money. Swim on the floor. Swim on the floor. Swim. Faster. Faster. You
Guys. I think we should settle this properly. Everyone stand up. Stand up. Get your fists ready. Okay, you know, if it's not being resolved, there's only one way to resolve it.
Second day.
Second day. Get up.
Kind of true.
Oh, you guys are nice.
Hey, give me your money. Help, I need help.
Again, looks like a dog for two muggers.
Stop. Why do you want this money?
You don't have me. You're like 12 and you're 14.
No, you can still get the job. Just come to my office after school, clean up the classroom for me, and then I'll give you $10. Yeah, okay.
Hey, you start giving us your money.
Okay.
We clap for everyone.
Okay, yes. All right. So if we had to spend a moment just reflecting on your plays, which play actually comes closer to what happens to you every day and how you really resolve it? You're being silly now. Okay, so tell us why you think you resolved yours or your argument to something that we experience every day.
Because it actually did happen. And it's happened to him. He stole a carrot.
So where do you steal the carrots from?
In the garden down at the bottom.
Oh,
So it was a tree.
well, that isn't a good idea. And do you pay for them? Why are you growing the carrots?
For a EMS business project.
For the business project, and what are you going to do with the carrots?
Sell them.
So then one way to definitely resolve that is for you to pay it back.
Yeah, that's why I said, forget that, you need to pay.
Yeah.
You yanked on our pastor though.
I don't know.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so that was actually quite a close argument to home. And you girls, cauliflower and camouflage are spelt really differently.
No.
That must have been a big problem.
Yeah, it really was. It went 2 days and she still did it.
Okay. So what happens, if you resolve an argument, what's actually happening? What do you choose to do?
Make it better.
Make it better, make peace. What else?
Stop fighting.
Okay.
What? Fighting.
Fighting.
Are we going to like practice this?
No, we're going to stop now. Okay, so in your argument, that is, I think that the way, well, why do you think you resolved your first day that way? No, was not your first day, your argument with the...
Hugo started the war and he's like the starter, so the only way to stop the war is to kill Hugo.
And I became a zombie.
And then
Do you really think that that's the only way to do something?
Yes.
Because he didn't want to do math either way.
Oh, you can ask me.
Hugo like hates I'm sure they and he would never do math again. So
Where do you think that why did you choose America to make that, to set that story there?
Because all things happen in America. I don't know why I just done.
what about the Zulu problem here?
Yeah, I know, but the
That's doing money and stuff.
Okay. So if I can give my opinion here, we hear a lot about shootings in America in schools and children with difficulties and gun control. So it's interesting that the way you chose to resolve your issues was through use of shooting people and using guns. Okay. I'm from the previous generation. I don't like zombies. Don't watch those programs. Okay, and finally here, you can't have day 2. Those people died on the first day.
No, like rewind. It's like rewind.
How it should have happened.
Yeah, how it should have happened.
Okay. But it's pretty difficult when you're in that situation. And maybe your situation is quite close to home. And so while we laugh at it, sometimes we do that when it's actually quite serious. Okay? I want you to all, you might just think, this has just been fun, but what do you think you've learned from this? Just what's true?
How we react to a situation.
How we react to a situation, what should we do?
Depending on the situation.
Yes?
You must figure things out. You mustn't fight with everyone like every time and like you must resolve everything.
Okay, so you should resolve an issue, or when you start to disagree, what happened the second time in this play? What did she do?
That I said it wasn't a good idea. I don't think you guys should.
You should step in as you start, when you have your disagreement, you should just think for one moment. If you listen to the other person, you might hear that you've maybe misunderstood them. Because many wars have been started through disagreements. Okay? And at this time of the year, you're all going to start finding that you get uppity and difficult and get upset by things. So please will you all just take a moment before you respond, all right, and listen carefully to each other. Okay. All right, thank you.
Let's summarize the key tips we can take away from the lesson. Know your subject and the content you plan to deliver. Plan and scaffold the lesson carefully. Each new concept must build on the previous one. Make sure learners have all the elements necessary to complete the task you will set, in this case, creating and presenting a play. Begin the lesson with breathing exercises, which will settle and focus learners. Include a variety of activities that build on each other to keep learners engaged. Include whole class and group work activities. Asking questions throughout the lesson is an efficient, time-saving and extremely valuable assessment tool. It provides insight into how learners are analyzing and synthesizing information. Thank you for watching this video in the Shooters Top Class Teaching Series. We wish you every success in your classroom.